Hey there. Thanks for being here. It means more than you know. And if you feel like hitting that subscribe button, I'd be grateful. Let's jump in. I'm Colton Hale, and I was 43 when the woman I loved shattered everything I believed love was supposed to be. I've never been one for pretending. I own a small specialized watch repair shop hidden in a quiet brick alley in Boulder, Colorado. My days revolved around delicate gears, time-worn watches, and intricate craftsmanship that felt alive with history. I lived by values: honesty, stillness, loyalty. But none of that protected me from the lie I lived beside for 4 silent years. Her name was Dana. We met one lazy Sunday afternoon at a backyard gathering hosted by a mutual friend. Grilled meat in the air, cheap beer in red cups. She didn't light up the space. No big laugh, no bold outfit. Just a faraway stare, sipping a hard seltzer while glued to her phone like she'd rather be anywhere else. I joked, asking if she needed rescuing. She looked up. "From this party or my whole damn life?" I laughed. She didn't crack a smile. 3 months later, we were inseparable. We were both carrying baggage. Dana had a teenage son, Eli, he was 16, and a divorce that left her bitter and bruised. Her ex, Reed, was the local firefighter, handsome, admired, textbook Americana. Dana had weathered years of legal battles, parenting wars, and emotional neglect. She said no one ever chose her, really chose her. I told her I wasn't the type to leave once I committed, and I meant every word. I meant her. We got married a year after we met. She and Eli moved into the apartment above my shop. Life was steady, if a little strained. I made her breakfast every morning, installed blackout curtains so the morning sun wouldn't wake her. I even set up a full gaming rig for Eli, trying to help him feel like part of the home. He never called me by my name. I was just him. As in, "Are we going if he's coming?" Dana would always excuse it. "He's still adjusting. Reed's always been his rock. You're just new." But new felt more like an unwelcome label than a phase. Still, I tried. Broncos tickets, offers to teach him watchmaking. He rarely looked away from his screen. But I stayed committed. I loved Dana. I cherished the soft thanks when I topped off her coffee. The way she got lost staring through windows, chasing dreams I'd never understand. Even when her affection cooled, I stayed. Then came the fractures, subtle at first. She stopped laughing at my dumb jokes. Her touch disappeared from small moments, cooking, passing by. Then silence crept in. Her phone became an extension of her hand, always face down, always muted. "It's just work," she'd tell me. "My boss is on me." Strange, considering her boss was undergoing chemo and barely even worked these days. And then, one bitter March morning, while I was slicing apples for her smoothie, she sat wordless at the counter in a hoodie, glass untouched. "I need space," she said, eyes on the floor. "What kind of space?" I asked. A pause. "I'm going to stay with my sister in Arizona. I need to breathe. I feel trapped here." I felt my chest tighten. "Did I do something wrong?" "It's not about you. I need to figure out who I am again." "And you can't do that with your husband beside you?" She looked away. "Please don't contact me while I'm gone." I froze, apple slice still in hand, trying to recognize the woman who couldn't even meet my eyes anymore. But I let her leave, because I still loved her. That night, I climbed onto the roof above my shop and sat in the stillness. No tears, just stars and silence. I kept wondering, how can love demand you give so much of yourself until there's nothing left? I didn't call her, didn't text. I waited. 2 weeks later, my phone rang. It was Travis, my best friend. "Hey, man, weird question. Is Dana back?" "No. Why?" "I saw something on Facebook. Reed posted it. They looked close, like not just catching up." My stomach sank. My hands went cold. I pulled up Reed's profile. Most of it was locked down, but tagged photos were still visible. There she was, Dana, in Sedona, laughing beside him, wearing the windbreaker I gave her last Christmas. One photo showed them huddled by a fire pit, shoulders touching. Another had her with Eli nestled between both parents. The caption read, "Sometimes things fall apart, so better things can come together. Family first, grateful." I didn't throw my phone, didn't yell. I just sat there. The truth dropped into my throat like stone. This wasn't space. It was a reunion. I had been a pause, a filler, a placeholder. And in that quiet, I realized something. I wouldn't beg. I wouldn't plead. She made her decision, and I would respect it. She wanted distance. I'd give her exactly that. The next morning, something inside me shifted. No more aching, just clarity. I brewed my coffee, medium roast, 2 sugars, oat milk, and sat at the kitchen table where she used to scroll and giggle at nonsense. Her chair was empty, but really it had been for a long time. I started packing, her clothes folded neatly. Sweaters, blouses, all of it. Her favorite candles, wrapped carefully. The notes I used to slip in her drawers, gone. I emptied photo frames. I boxed up the jewelry I gave her on our 2nd anniversary, including the ring I'd offered with so much trembling hope. Even her perfume, haunting and familiar, I sealed it away. If she wanted her old life back, she could have it. All of it. I labeled the final box for the woman who needed space. Then I shipped it, overnight, signature required, to her sister's address in Arizona. The same lie she fed me, but this time I made sure she'd have to receive it. When I came back home, the silence didn't sting. It felt still, pure, done. That night, I poured myself a glass of whiskey and stared at the only photo I couldn't bring myself to pack, our wedding picture. She in lace, me in navy. 2 people who once believed in forever. I turned it face down. I needed motion. I needed air. So I called Dean, my friend and riding partner. We took our bikes through Boulder Canyon. The wind bit deep. The sun dropped behind the trees. I didn't speak much, just rode like something was chasing me. When we stopped, Dean lit a cigarette. "So, Dana?" I nodded. "She mess you up?" I thought for a while. "No. She just remembered who she used to be and forgot who I was." Dean exhaled smoke. "You gonna get revenge?" I shook my head. "No. I'm going to find the man I was before her." The next morning, I unlocked my shop and stepped inside. And everything had changed. I flipped the sign to "Open." Let Coltrane spill from the speakers, not to fill an emptiness anymore, but to shape a silence with purpose. A silence that meant something. Later that day, I phoned my lawyer. "Margot, I need to draft a separation agreement." She didn't press. Just said, "So, you're finally doing it?" "Yeah. I'm beyond ready." Sleep avoided me that night, not because of Dana, but because something had shifted. A flicker of clarity, like a quiet storm gathering. I knew Dana wasn't going to last with Reed. He'd betrayed her more than once, the second time with Eli's teacher, no less. His appeal had always been fleeting, a spark that never stayed lit. She was clinging to some polished version of their past that had long since died. It wasn't real. And when that illusion broke, I knew she'd try to find her way back to me. But I wouldn't be here waiting. I'd already moved on, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, not just surviving, thriving in ways she'd have no choice but to notice. 3 weeks slipped by. I stopped checking her social media. I stopped monitoring Reed's photo tags. I stopped wishing she'd reach out. Instead, I poured myself into the shop, invested in a new ultrasonic cleaner, hired Harper, sharp as a scalpel, 29, former horology student turned mechanical savant. She could take apart a watch like she was rewiring time itself. We connected instantly. Not romantically, just two curious minds meeting with mutual respect. Her energy was contagious. She challenged me, made me laugh, pushed me toward bold ideas for the business. For once, I wasn't dragging someone along. We were building something side by side, and I found myself smiling again. One evening, just as I was locking up, my phone lit up, a call from a blocked number. I nearly let it go to voicemail, but something told me to pick up. Colton. That voice, soft, familiar. Dana. I got the boxes, she said. I know. There was a long pause. You didn't have to send everything. Yes, I did. Why? Another quiet beat. Because you asked for distance. I gave you all of it, down to the last sock. Her voice wavered. I didn't think it would feel this final. Funny. I didn't think betrayal would feel so predictable. More silence. It wasn't what you think. Then explain. You weren't up at a cabin with Reed and Eli, laughing, hugging, pretending to be a family on Instagram? It just happened. Eli wanted us together. Reed reached out. I didn't expect... Did you forget you had a spouse? Her voice dropped. No, I just needed space. To cheat. She didn't say a word. She didn't need to. The next morning, she showed up outside the shop. I'd just turned the key when I spotted her, arms crossed, eyes swollen, wearing that worn Seattle sweatshirt I bought her on our trip. Can we talk? She asked. I think we've already said it all. Colton. I made a mistake. Reed's always been one. But what we had, that was real. No, Dana. What I had was real. You had choices. She winced. Good. I came to apologize. I'm sure you did. I want to make it right. Then invent a time machine, I said, stepping back inside. Because you don't fit in my present. She didn't knock again. Just lingered outside, unmoving for 5 minutes, like she was hoping I'd reconsider. I didn't. I turned up the jazz and focused on a 1940s Jaeger LeCoultre, the kind of intricate timepiece that demanded all the care I used to give our marriage. Eventually, I heard her car pull away, quietly, like shame itself. It was a Friday. I stayed late at the shop, not out of grief, but by decision. Harper stayed too, sorting stock while old soul records swirled in the background. She didn't mention Dana. She didn't need to. You're different this week, she said around 9, carefully polishing a chronograph's case. Oh yeah? How so? You're not working to escape anymore. You're working to create. She nailed it. Over the following weeks, everything started to evolve. Not just inside me, but around me. Word got out. A luxury lifestyle blog ranked the shop 3rd among the best hidden watch studios in the U.S. My inbox exploded. Collectors, high-end hobbyists, even a TV production company looking for help with vintage timepieces for a 1960s series. Dana never appreciated any of this. She used to say, "It's cute that your little hobby brings in money, Colton," like I was some harmless guy playing with gears and dreams. But I wasn't playing. I was curating legacy. And finally, the world started noticing. So did she. First, it was harmless texts. Saw the write-up. Proud of you. Eli said your shop came up on his feed. Crazy. You were always more capable than I gave you credit for. I didn't reply. Not once. Then came the email. Long, emotional, dripping with regret and soft admissions like, I didn't know what I had, and you always made everything feel grounded. She ended with, I told Reed it's done. I never should have looked back. I see it clearly now. A few months ago, that would have destroyed me. Now? I just forwarded it to Margot with a note. Finalize everything. No room for negotiation. She made her choices. 3 weeks later, she tried once more. This time, she showed up at an art gala where one of my restored pieces, a World War II field watch, was on display for charity auction. It was my first step into the world she used to claim I didn't belong to. I wore a black suit, tailored. Clean shave, confidence I hadn't felt in years. She wore red. She always wore red when she wanted the upper hand. "Colton," she said, scanning nervously, "I didn't realize you'd be here." "You did," I replied, casually sipping bourbon. "The shop posted about it days ago. You still follow us." She flushed. "Can we step outside? Talk privately?" I leaned in just enough to let her think, maybe. "This is private. The only thing unclear is that you're not welcome anymore." She drew back like I'd slapped her. Before she could speak, Harper appeared beside me. "Everything good, Colton?" Dana glanced at her, younger, poised, grounded in her own skin, unshaken. "Perfect," I said, sliding my arm into Harper's. "Just a ghost passing through." Dana turned away. We didn't. That night, Harper and I celebrated on the rooftop above the shop. Champagne, soft bulbs strung overhead, stars dusted across the Colorado sky. She didn't ask questions, didn't demand closure, just let me be. "Do you ever regret marrying her?" she asked eventually. "No," I said. "I regret who I turned into trying to keep her." Summer slipped into autumn. And Dana? She started to fall apart. Word made its way through old connections. Reed had moved on, now living with a paramedic from his own unit. Eli turned icy again, retreating emotionally and pinning the blame on Dana for destroying what little chance remained of putting things back together. Dana ended up renting a small apartment on the outskirts of Phoenix, trying her hand at a lifestyle blog. It barely registered on anyone's radar. Then, late one night, just shy of midnight, I got a message from an unfamiliar number. "Saw the latest from your workshop. You look at peace." I missed that smile. I didn't answer, just blocked the number. Because here's the quiet truth about betrayal. Revenge isn't always explosive. Sometimes it's a slow, undeniable rise from the very person you once doubted. It's watching someone flourish while your own life starts shrinking. It's realizing that the person you dismissed has now become unreachable, untouchable. The letter came on a crisp October morning. Thick envelope, legal seal pressed on the back, my name printed cleanly on the front. I already knew. Inside was Dana's official response to the divorce filing, but that wasn't all. She wanted alimony, a portion of the business, claimed she'd supported me through our marriage. I stared at it for a while, then let out a short, bitter laugh. She wanted a piece of something she never believed would last. I didn't call her, didn't rant. Just forwarded the documents to my lawyer with a single line. "Let's make this loud." 2 weeks later, the tidy narrative Dana had built started crumbling. My attorney filed a countersuit, stacked with evidence, photos, timestamps, social media posts, even captions from her so-called family getaway. The fog cleared. She hadn't gone searching for clarity. She'd gone back to her ex, and we had the proof. She denied it briefly, but the judge didn't care for dramatics, just facts. And ours? Ironclad. The result? She walked away with nothing. No alimony, no claim on the business, not even the condo we once planned to call home. The law handled the cleanup. All I had to do was tell the truth. About a month later, she showed up at the shop. One last appearance. She looked smaller somehow, worn down. Her makeup couldn't mask the exhaustion and regret. "I've lost everything," she said quietly, standing in the same doorway where she once asked for space. I didn't react. "No," I said, voice calm. "You gave it all away." Her eyes filled. I was scared. Reed felt safe, familiar. I didn't believe you'd ever be more than what you were. And now, she hesitated, breath catching. Now you've become everything I convinced myself I didn't need, because I didn't think I could keep you. I nodded slowly. You were right. Then I closed the door. Gently, silently, no final words. Because sometimes people only see your value when they no longer have access to you. 7 months had passed since Dana left, not with honesty, not with dignity, but wrapped in the lie of self-discovery. Oddly enough, her exit gave me something better than closure. It gave me myself. The shop had grown. What began as a cramped repair room above a forgotten alley had transformed into a refined horology studio, known among collectors, featured in local magazines, even highlighted in a national documentary. I'd redesigned the upper level into a lounge-style client area. Harper rebuilt our online presence. We had a wait list stretching into spring. I even brought on a second apprentice. Marcus, quiet and brilliant, once reassembled a Zenith movement from memory. It wasn't just a business anymore. It was a legacy. One Dana never imagined could thrive. One night, while organizing a batch of vintage military timepieces, I stumbled on an old box tucked behind a shelf. The handwriting was unmistakable. Dana's. Inside were postcards from places we never visited. Just reminders, she'd once told me, of all the places we said we'd go. Rome, Paris, coastal Maine, plans left behind, probably destinations she ended up reaching, with someone else. I didn't feel sad or angry, just numb. I tossed the box into the trash and kept working. Later that week, I was invited to a local gala, a gathering of creatives, entrepreneurs, and philanthropists. They asked me to speak. The topic, how to rebuild after loss. How pain can turn into something beautiful. I kept it simple. Someone once told me I'd never be anything but small, quiet, easy to forget. But I've learned this. Our worth isn't measured by who leaves us, but by what we build in their absence. The applause was warm, but I hadn't come for praise. I meant every word. As I stepped off the stage, I saw her. Dana. Standing at the back, half hidden behind a pillar, arms crossed, face unreadable. She didn't applaud, didn't cry, just watched. And in that moment, I knew she finally understood. The man she let go had become the man everyone stood up for. Time moved on. The trees in Boulder turned amber and gold. The business flourished. I expanded the team, started mentoring young watchmakers at a local trade school, passing down the art of restoration. Then, on an otherwise ordinary Sunday, something subtle but profound happened. I woke up smiling, not because Dana had fallen, not because I'd won, but because I was finally free. I made coffee, headed to the rooftop, let the sun warm my skin. Harper arrived not long after, laughing at something on her phone, carrying a box of blueberry muffins. We sat together in silence, perfectly at ease. At one point, she asked, "Do you still think about her?" I shook my head. "No. I think about me now." She smiled. "Good. You deserve that." And she was right. Because the truest revenge isn't fury or success. It's becoming the version of yourself they never believed in, and never letting them close enough to touch it again. That's where this story ends. Drop your thoughts in the comments if this spoke to you. And if you're curious, check out the rest of the channel. Until next time, friend.